hi guys. Just getting our tea set. Gonna be drinking a mint tea today. Get yourself a beverage or a cup of tea, anything. Make yourself cozy. Tad bit of honey. How are you guys? So today I was inspired by an article that came across my news feed from a website called Live Science. One moment. Let me pour some teas. The article was entitled Cretaceous Terror Crocodile Crushed Dinosaurs with Banana-Sized Teeth. This doesn't come through really well. I'm going to put a link to this article on the website. You guys can get to it. See this guy? Look how big he is. But anyways, this enormous crocodile known as Dinosuchus, which means a terrible crocodile in Greek. They were among the biggest predators in North American habitats and lived 75 to 82 million years ago, and their bodies were at least 33 feet long. So they've known that these giant crocs have been around for a while. However, until now the complete animal was unknown, and they've put more of the pieces together in this study. Dinosuchus are crocodilian, the group that includes modern alligators, crocodiles, and gharials. I'm not sure how you say that. And despite the name terrible crocodile, the Dinosuchus lineage was more closely related to alligators. It was a strange animal. Scientists have yet to uncover the function of the snout. It has a much more snouted nose. I don't know if you can see this. There's great pictures in this article of the whole animal and also just its musculature and its bones. And anyways, so that is that. Alright. Oh, here we go. I wanted to show you this. Can you imagine teeth this size? You could definitely do some damage with that. Let's start with an oldie but goodie, and if you have this, oh, you can already see it. And if you have this one at home, you can read along. We're going to go with Danny the Dinosaur by Sid Hoff. Yay! And The Enormous Crocodile by Roald Dahl. Alright, let's get going. Have a sip of this tea, and then we will start our story. Ooh, that's lovely. I'll leave it in another minute. A little more flavor. Danny the Dinosaur. It's also pictures and the story by Sid Hoff. Danny and the Dinosaur. One day, Danny went to the museum. He wanted to see what was inside. I'm not sure the best way to do this. I think I'll read it and then I'll show you the pictures, okay? He saw Indians, he saw bears, he saw Eskimos, he saw guns, and he saw swords, and he saw dinosaurs. Danny loved dinosaurs. He wished he had one. I'm sorry they're not real, said Danny. It would be nice to play with a dinosaur. And I think it would be nice to play with you, said a voice. Can you? Said Danny. Yes, said the dinosaur. Oh, good, said Danny. What can we do? I can take you for a ride, said the dinosaur, and he put his head down so Danny could get on him. Look how tiny Danny is compared to this dude. Let's go, said Danny. The policeman stared at them. He had never seen a dinosaur stop for a red light. The dinosaur was so tall, Danny had to hold up the ropes for him. Look out, said Danny. Wow, wow, said a dog running after them. He thinks you're a car, said Danny. Go away, dog, we're not a car. I can make a noise like a car, said the dinosaur. Honk, honk, honk. What big rocks, said the dinosaur. They're not rocks, said Danny. They're buildings. I love to climb, said the dinosaur. Down, boy, said Danny. How would you feel if that guy came climbing up your side of your house? The dinosaur had to be very careful not to knock over houses or stores with his long tail. Some people were waiting for a bus, and they rode on the dinosaur's tail instead. All who want to cross the street may walk on my back, said the dinosaur. It's very nice of you to help me with my bundles, said a lady. Danny and the dinosaur went all over town and had lots of fun. It's good to take an hour or two off after 100 million years, said the dinosaur. They even looked at the ball game. Hit the ball, said Danny. Hit a home run, said the dinosaur. I wish we had a boat, said Danny. Who needs a boat? I can swim, said the dinosaur. Toot toot went the boats. Toot toot went Danny and the dinosaur. Oh, what lovely green grass, said the dinosaur. Haven't eaten any of that for a very long time. Wait, said Danny. See what it says? Please keep off. They both had ice cream instead. Let's go to the zoo and see the animals, said Danny. Everyone came running to see the dinosaur. Nobody stayed to see the lions. Nobody stayed to see the elephants. Nobody stayed to see the monkeys. And nobody stayed to see the seals, giraffes, or hippos either. Please go away so the animals will get looked at, said the zoo man. Let's find my friends, said Danny. Very well, said the dinosaur. Pardon me, we interrupt this reading. There they are, said Danny. Why is Danny riding on a dinosaur, said a child. Maybe he'll give us a ride. Maybe we can have a ride, asked the children. I'd be delighted, said the dinosaur. Hold on tight, said Danny. Around and around the block ran the dinosaur, faster and faster and faster. This is better than a merry-go-round, said the children. The dinosaur was out of breath. Teach him tricks, said the children. Danny taught the dinosaur how to shake hands. Can you roll over on your back, asked the children. That's easy, said the dinosaur. He's smart, said Danny, patting the dinosaur. Let's play hide and seek, said the children. How do you play it, said the dinosaur. We hide and you try to find us, said Danny. The dinosaur covered his eyes and all the children ran to hide. The dinosaur looked and he couldn't find the children. I give up, he said. Now it was the dinosaur's turn to hide. The children covered their eyes. The dinosaur hid behind the house. The children found him. He hid behind a sign. The children found him. He hid behind a big gas tank. The children found him again. They found him again and again and again. I guess there's no place for me to hide, cried the dinosaur. Let's make believe we can't find him, said Danny. Where can he be? Where's that dinosaur? Where did he go? We give up, said the children. Here I am, said the dinosaur. The dinosaur wins, said the children. We couldn't find him. He fooled us. Hooray for the dinosaur, the children cried. Hooray, hooray. It got late and the other children left. Danny and the dinosaur were alone. Well, goodbye, Danny, said the dinosaur. Can't you come and stay with me, said Danny. We could have fun. No, said the dinosaur. I've had a good time. The best I've had in 100 million years. But now I must get back to the museum. They need me there. Oh, said Danny. Well, goodbye. Danny watched until the long tail was out of sight, and then he went home alone. Oh well, thought Danny, we don't have a room for a pet that size anyway, but we did have a wonderful day. The end. You guys like that one? We've read that a ton. There's also more like Dinosaur Goes to Summer Camp or Camp. Do. Delicious. Mint with a little honey. Perfect. So, shall we move on to our enormous crocodile? As soon as I saw that article, I thought of this book and wanted to read it to you guys. Let's just jump right in, shall we? Oops. I'll do the same thing. I'll read it. This is a bit... So if anybody had enough at this point, you're welcome to bug out anytime you want. If you want to stick around for a little bit longer story, here we are. Or you can pause, come back. Anything works. In the biggest... I'm sorry, the enormous crocodile. Yeah, I said the title. In the biggest, brownest, muddiest river in Africa, 2 crocodiles lay with their heads just above the water. One of the crocodiles was enormous. The other one not so big. Do you know what I would like for lunch today? The enormous crocodile said. No, the not so big one said. What? The enormous crocodile grinned, showing hundreds of sharp white teeth. For my lunch today, he said, I'd like a nice, juicy child. I never eat children, the not so big one said. Only fish. Ha ha ho, cried the enormous crocodile. I bet if you saw a fat, juicy little child paddling in the water over there at this very moment, you'd gulp him up in one gulp. No, I wouldn't, the not so big one said. Children are too tough and chewy. They're tough and chewy and nasty and bitter. Where's the not so big one? They only showed the one guy. Here, I'll show you this picture. It's a little... There we go. See? Not so big and enormous. Tough and chewy, cried the enormous crocodile. Nasty and bitter. What awful tummy rot you talk. They are juicy and yummy. They taste so bitter, the not so big one said. You have to cover them with sugar before you can eat them. Children are bigger than fish, said the enormous crocodile. Why, you get bigger helpings. You are greedy, the not so big one said. You're the greediest croc in the whole river. I'm the bravest croc in the whole river, said the enormous crocodile. I'm the only one who dares to leave the water, go through the jungle to the town to look for little children to eat. You've only done that once, snorted the not so big one. And what happened then? They all saw you coming and they ran away. Here, we'll do two glances again. Here's the 2 guys talking. But today when I go, they won't see me at all. Of course they'll see you, the not so big one said. You're so enormous and ugly, they'll see you from miles away. The enormous crocodile grinned again, and his terrible sharp teeth sparkled like knives in the sun. Nobody will see me, he said, because this time I've thought up secret plan and clever tricks. Clever tricks, cried the not so big ones. You've never done anything clever in your life. They're the stupidest crocodile in the whole river. I'm the cleverest croc in the whole river, the enormous crocodile answered. For my lunch today I shall feast upon a fat, juicy little child while you lie here in the river, feeling hungry. Goodbye. The enormous crocodile swam to the other side of the river and crawled out of the water. A gigantic creature was standing in the slimy oozy mud on the riverbank. It was Humpy Rumpy, the hippopotamus. We saw this one. Let's see the next one. Here he is. This guy here. He's like, look at all his teeth. And here's the hippo. Well, hello, said Humpy Rumpy. Where on earth are you off to on this time of day? I have secret plans and clever tricks, said the crocodile. Oh dear, said Humpy Rumpy. I'll bet you're going to do something horrid. The enormous crocodile grinned at Humpy Rumpy and said, I'm going to fill my hungry, empty tummy with something yummy, 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 yummy. What's so yummy? Asked Humpy Rumpy. Try to guess, said the crocodile. It's something that walks on 2 legs. You don't mean, said the Humpy Rumpy. You don't really mean you're going to eat a little child. Of course I am, said the crocodile. Oh, you horrid, greedy, grumptious brute, cried Humpy Rumpy. I hope you get caught and cooked and turned into crocodile soup. The enormous crocodile laughed out loud at Humpy Rumpy and then waddled off into the jungle. Inside the jungle, he met Chunky, the elephant. Chunky was nibbling on leaves from the top of a tall tree, and he didn't notice the crocodile first, so the crocodile bit him on the leg. What? Ow, said Chunky in his deep voice. Who did that? Oh, it's you. Oh, it's you. It is. You beastly crocodile. Why don't you go back to the big, brown, muddy river where you belong? I have secret plans and clever tricks, said the crocodile. You mean you've got nasty plans and nasty tricks, said Chunky. You've never done a nice thing in your life. The enormous crocodile grinned up at Chunky and said, I'd love to find a yummy child for my lunch. Keep listening and you'll hear the bones go crunch. Oh, you wicked beastly beast, cried Chunky. Oh, you foul, filthy fiend. I hope you get squashed and squished and squizzled and boiled up in crocodile stew. The enormous crocodile laughed out loud and disappeared into the thick, thick jungle. Okay, here's this guy. A bit further, he met Mugglewump the monkey. Mugglewump was sitting in a tree eating nuts. Hello, Crocky, said Mugglewump. What are you up to now? I have secret plans and clever tricks, said the crocodile. Would you like some nuts, said Mugglewump. I have better things to eat than nuts, sniffed the crocodile. I don't think there was anything better than nuts, said Mugglewump. Ah-ha-ha, said the enormous crocodile. The sorts of things I'm going to eat have fingers, toenails, arms, and legs, and feet. Mugglewump went pale and began to shake all over. You aren't really going to gobble up a little child, are you? He said. Of course I am, said the crocodile, clothes and all. They taste better with the clothes on. Oh, you horrid, hoggish crock, said Mugglewump. You slimy, creepy creature. I hope the buttons and buckles all stick to your throat and choke you. The crocodile grinned up at Mugglewump and said, I eat monkeys too. In a quick flash, in one bite of his huge jaws, he bit through that tree Mugglewump was sitting on, and down it came. And just in time, Mugglewump jumped onto the next tree and swung away through the branches. A bit further down, the enormous crocodile met Roly-Poly Bird. The Roly-Poly Bird was building a nest in an orange tree. Hello there, enormous crocodile, sang the Roly-Poly Bird. We don't often see you up here in the jungle. Ah, said Crocodile. I have secret plans and clever tricks. I hope it's not something nasty, sang the Roly-Poly Bird. Nasty, cried the crocodile. Of course it's not nasty. It's delicious. It's luscious, it's super, it's muscious, it's duper. It's better than rotten old fish. You mash it and you munch it. You chew it and you crunch it. It's so lovely to hear it go squish. It must be berries, sang the Roly-Poly Bird. Berries are my favorite food in the whole world. It is raspberries, perhaps, or it could be strawberries. The enormous crocodile laughed so much his teeth rattled together like pennies in a piggy bank. Crocodiles don't like to eat berries, he said. We eat little boys and girls, and sometimes we eat roly-poly birds as well. Very quickly, the crocodile reached up and snapped his jaws at the roly-poly bird, and he just missed the bird and managed to catch hold of the long, beautiful feathers of her tail. The roly-poly bird gave a shriek of terror and shot straight into the air, leaving its tail feathers behind the enormous crocodile's mouth. At last, the enormous crocodile came out of the other side of the jungle and into the sunshine. He could see the town not far away. Sorry. Ho ho, he said, thinking to himself, ha ha, that walk through the jungle has made me hungrier than ever. One child's not going to be nearly enough for me today. I won't be full up until I've eaten at least 3 juicy little children. He started to creep forward towards the town. The enormous crocodile crept over to the place where he had a lot of coconut trees. He knew the children from town often came here looking for coconuts. The trees were too tall for them to climb, but there was always some coconuts on the ground that had fallen. The enormous crocodile quickly collected all the coconuts that were laying on the ground, and he also gathered together several fallen branches. Now, for clever trick number 1, he whispered to himself, it won't be long before I'm eating the first part of my lunch. He took all the coconut branches and held them between his teeth, and he grasped the coconuts in his front paws, and then he stood straight up in the air and balanced himself on his tail. He had arranged the branches and coconuts so cleverly that now he looked exactly like a small coconut tree standing among the big coconut trees. Soon 2 children came along, and they were brother and sister, and the boy called Toto, and his sister was called Mary. See him? They walked around looking for fallen coconuts, but they couldn't find any because the enormous crocodile had gathered them all up. Oh, look, cried Toto. The tree over there is much smaller than the others, and it's full of coconuts. I think I could climb that one quite easy if you help me up the first part. Toto and Mary ran towards what they thought was a small coconut tree. The enormous crocodile peered through the branches, watching them as they came closer and closer. He licked his lips. He began to dribble with excitement. Suddenly, there was a tremendous whooshing noise. The Humpy Rumpy, the hippopotamus, came crashing and snorting out of the jungle. His head was down low, and he was galloping at terrific speed. "Look out, Toto," said Humpy Rumpy. "Look out, Mary. That's not a coconut tree. It's an enormous crocodile, and he wants to eat you up." Humpy Rumpy charged straight at the enormous crocodile. He caught up with them with his giant head and set him tumbling and skidding all over the ground. "Whee!" cried the crocodile. "Help! Stop! Where am I?" Toto and Mary ran back to town as fast as they could. But crocodiles are tough, and it's difficult for even a hippopotamus to hurt them. The enormous crocodile picked himself up and crept towards the place where children's playground was. "Now for clever trick number 2, he said to himself. "This one is certain to work." There were no children in the playground that moment. They were all in school. The enormous crocodile had found a big log and placed it in the middle of the playground. Then he lay across the log and stuck his feet in so they looked almost exactly like a seesaw. When school was over, the children all came running to the playground. "Oh, look," they cried, "we got a new seesaw," and they all crowded around, shouting with excitement. Would you guys get on that seesaw? Would you? "I'll go first. I'll go on the other end. I want to go first." "So do I, so do I." Then a girl who was older than the others said, "It's rather a funny, novelty sort of seesaw, isn't it? Do you think it would be safe to sit on?" "Of course it will," the others said. "It looks strong as anything." The enormous crocodile opened its eyes just a tiny bit to watch the children who were crowding around him. Soon he thought, "One of them is going to sit on my head, and then I'll give a jerk and snap, and after that it'll be yum, yum, yum." At that moment, there was a flash of brown, and something jumped onto the playground and hopped up onto the swings. It was Mugglewump, the monkey. "Run, Mugglewump!" shouted his children. "All of you run, run, run. This is not a seesaw, it's an enormous crocodile, and he wants to eat you up." The children screamed and ran for their lives. Mugglewump disappeared back into the jungle. The enormous crocodile was left alone on the playground. He cursed the monkey and waddled back into the bushes to hide. "I'm getting hungry and hungry and hungry," he said. "I shall have to eat up at least 4 children now and before I'm full up. The enormous crocodile, crept around the edge of the town, taking great care not to be seen. When he came to a place where they were getting ready to have a fair, there were slides and swings and cars and people selling popcorn and cotton candy. There was also a big merry-go-round. The merry-go-round had marvelous wooden creatures for children to ride on. There was a white horse, lions, tigers, mermaids, fishtails, fearsome dragons with red tongues sticking out of their mouth. "Now for clever trick number 3, said the enormous crocodile, licking his lips. I know what he's going to do, you guys. When he ran, no one was looking. When no one was looking, he crept up onto the merry-go-round and put himself between 2 wooden lions and a fearsome dragon. He sat up a bit on his back legs and kept very still, and he looked exactly like a wooden crocodile on the merry-go-round. Soon all sorts of children came flocking onto the fair. Several of them ran towards the merry-go-round. They were very excited. "I'm going to ride a dragon," one cried. "I'm going to ride on a lovely white horse," cried another. "I'm going on a lion," cried a third. And one little girl, whose name was Jill, said, "I'm going to ride on that funny old wooden crocodile." The enormous crocodile kept very still, but he could see the little girl coming towards him. "Yummy, yummy, yummy," he thought. "I'll gulp her up easily in one gulp." Suddenly there was a swish and a swoosh, and something came swishing and swooshing out of the sky. It was a roly-poly bird, and he flew round and round the merry-go, singing, "Look out, Jill, look out, look out, look out, don't ride on the crocodile." Jill stopped and looked up. "That's not a wooden crocodile," sang the roly-poly bird. "It's a real one. It's the enormous crocodile from the river, and he wants to eat you up." He's still there. He's the only one left on the merry-go-round. Jill turned and ran, so did the other children. Even the man who was working the merry-go-round jumped off and ran as fast as he could. The enormous crocodile cursed the roly-poly bird, wandered back into the bushes to hide. "I'm so hungry now," he said to himself. "I could eat 6 children before I'm full up." Just outside the town there was a pretty little field with trees and bushes all around it. There was called the picnic place. There were several tables and long benches, and people were allowed to go there and have a picnic at any time. The enormous crocodile crept over to the picnic place, and there was no one in sight. Now for a clever trick number 4, he whispered to himself. He picked a lovely bunch of flowers, arranged it on one of the tables, and from the same table he took away one of the benches and hid it in the bushes. Then he put himself in a place where the bench had been. By tucking his head under his chest and twisting his tail out of sight, he made himself look very much like a wooden bench with 4 legs. Here he is. Soon, 2 boys and a girl came along carrying baskets of food, and they all formed one family, and their mother had said, they were all from one family, and their mother had said they could go out and have a picnic together. Which table shall we sit? Said one. Let's take the table with lovely flowers on it, said the other. The enormous crocodile kept very quiet as a mouse. I shall eat them all, he said to himself, and they will come and sit on my back, and I will swizzle my head around quickly, and after that, squish, crunch, gallop, gulp. Suddenly, a big deep voice from the jungle shouted, "Stand back, children, stand back, stand back!" The children stopped and stared at the place where the voice was coming from. Then, with the crashing of the branches, Trunky, the elephant, came rushing out of the jungle. That's not a bench you're going to sit on, he bellowed. It's an enormous crocodile. He wants to eat you up. Chunky trotted over to the spot where the enormous crocodile was standing. As quick as a flash, he wrapped his trunk around the crocodile's tail and hoisted him in the air. Hey, let go of me, yelled the enormous crocodile, who was dangling upside down. Let go of me, let go. No, Chunky said, I will not let you go. You've all had quite enough of your clever tricks. Chunky began to swing the crocodile round and round in the air. At first he swung him slowly, then he swung him faster and faster. And faster and faster and faster still, and soon the enormous crocodile was just a blur circle going round and round Chunky's head. Suddenly, Chunky let go of the crocodile's tail, and the crocodile went shooting high up in the sky like a huge green rocket. Up, up, up he went, higher and higher, faster and faster. He was going so fast and so high that soon the earth was just a tiny dot miles below. He whizzed on, and he whizzed far into space, and he whizzed past the moon, and he whizzed past the stars and the planets, until at last, look at him going. With the most tremendous bang, the enormous crocodile crashed headfirst into the hot, hot sun, and he was sizzled up like a sausage. The end. So that's kind of fitting, a bang. Some people think there's a theory that that's how Big Bang, creation of the universe, crocodiles. Guys, that was so fun. I hope you had tea. I hope you listened to stories. Cheers. Till next time.